Hi everyone, welcome back to Hope and Coffee. And I've been away just a little bit, but I promise I am back with coffee. I found a really delicious roast the other day at honestly Home Goods. It's always a roll of the dice though, but it was called the Raven Roast. And I'm not really sure the roaster, but that's what it is. And it is really good. So I may end up going back to Home Goods and seeing if I can get another bag or two. They are whole beans. I usually grind them just the night before I actually brew it up in my percolator, and it is delicious. So, cheers to that. Today's episode is actually about mental health, but also men's mental health, because I don't think we talk about that enough, especially from a female's perspective. For men, I don't know if we actually talk about it enough. Like, I don't know if the stigma has lessened lately in society in order for guys to feel more comfortable talking about that sort of thing. I know growing up that was not a big topic. Mental health in general was not a big topic, but I also feel like mental health for females has kind of always been a kind of a point. I know my grandmother was in a mental institution for a little bit, and so had some health issues. But I'm just saying, so mental health has usually predominantly been geared towards females, and hysterics and histrionics and those sorts of things. However, I think in today's era we need to also talk about men being able to be comfortable talking about those sorts of issues as well. And I'm not talking about histrionics and those sorts of things. I'm talking about just generally being able to say they're not okay when they're not okay. Because I was reading an article, and maybe I was talking to somebody as well. And, as you all know, I'm back and forth on dating apps pretty frequently, just kind of seeing what's out there, talking to people, making connections that sometimes are hit and miss. And there was one individual who I had matched with, and I kind of knew pretty quickly that we probably weren't going to hit it off in a romantic situation. However, it really felt like he needed somebody to talk to. But the more I talked to him, the more I really realized he really needed to talk to someone in a professional capacity. And I don't mean this in any negative manner. I just know he sounded as though he needed an outlet that was consistent, that he could talk to act as a sounding board, to work through some things that he had gone through in his past. I was happy to be a friend, but I am not a professional in those capacities, and I can listen, but I'm not skilled or qualified to give advice in order to help someone make their life better, or to do certain things in order to try to grow as a person. That's not me. I wish that were me, and sometimes I wish I had taken those steps in my career to gain the skill set, because I think I would love to have been a therapist or a counselor in some capacity. However, I didn't take those steps, and so now I, again, can only be someone's friend, and I can listen, and can be an ear to hear, a shoulder to cry on, and those sorts of things, but I can't fix the trauma from a past relationship, and I can't be good for a person in the way that I distract them from their problems. I also had a previous boyfriend who pretty much would not talk about issues because his family didn't talk about issues, and it became a really big thing because I am very open about talking about issues, and he pretty much wanted to sweep everything under the rug. That's not healthy either, because you know what? Your rug can only hide so much, and then it becomes a really big problem that you start tripping over daily. But I kind of wrote down a couple of thoughts, and I was thinking about this, and in my personal opinion, I find that it's a very weak woman who does not care about the mental health of her partner or her friend or a family member. And this is not to insinuate that she's got to take it on as her mess to quote unquote fix, but the word I use is care. To care about that person enough to try to help them in such a way that you support them in whatever way they need to feel better, get better, and that sort of thing. We are not responsible for anyone else's in mental health except for our own. And yet women also get told that we don't quote unquote care about a man's mental health. Well, I personally absolutely care about the mental health of friends and family around me. I want to know that the people around me are in a pretty good place, and that if they're not, I hope that they can feel okay talking to me, that I hope in some way I'm able to provide some sort of safe space for them to feel like they have a friend. And there's a stigma, and we've kind of mentioned that before, but more conversations need to be had. We can't keep ignoring the issue of generational trauma, past relationships, and insecurities. And it's not the responsibility of a current love interest to try to repair all those broken pieces. Now, a person can help along the way, but they can't go back and fix all of that for you. It's got to be work done for yourself and with your partner, and with support. So take me. I had a bad breakup and I felt very uninterested in anyone for quite a while. But I also felt a bit self-destructive and like I didn't care about what happened because maybe I thought I didn't deserve it. I found myself not really talking to people about those feelings because I kind of felt like it was, again, my fault. I was inadequate in some way. Again, I'm a female, so of course people are probably like, okay, well, yeah, females. But the thing is, I found myself in an oddly healing situation, which gave me support, and it came out of nowhere. It gave me support, it gave me understanding, balance, and communication, which I allowed myself to work on myself in a safe space. So my puppy is barking at me. He is being very fussy. I am so sorry as I talk about this topic. But he is being a little pester butt. I guess he wants to talk about mental health too. But the thing is I found that I didn't deserve stability, and I found as though I was just actively seeking anything to feel something at that particular point. But what I fell into was a situation that actually was incredibly helpful for me to learn a lot about myself, because there were certain things in place with that situation that gave me some grounding, but gave me boundaries and gave me confidence and security to work through things that I needed to work through on my own. Now, had that person not been present in my life, it may have taken longer for me to work through those things, but that person just happened to be in the right place at the right time and felt comfortable enough for me to be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to lean on you so much, but I'm so glad you're here as I'm working on this. And if you don't mind, do you mind if I work through this while you're in my life? And honestly, they did. They were happy to be part of that journey with me, and I'm thankful for that. But anyway, so those are my thoughts, and I really hope that more men will talk about mental health, will support each other in their own mental health journeys. And I hope females out there, the women in their life, whether they be partners, sisters, or anything else, friends, whatever you label yourself as, I hope you'll support each other as y'all grow and as y'all talk about these things, because I just don't think there should be a stigma about it anymore. I think we need to be more open and honest with each other so we can actually figure out who each other are as people and as individuals to help each other. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you all on the next page. Have a great one.